Hello and welcome to another episode of the Indian LCHF show. I'm Natchi Lazarus.
And I'm Tina.
And we welcome you, and we have been having fantastic conversations about the basics of LCHF, low carb style of eating and lifestyle for the last few weeks. We started off by talking about what is LCHF, and then we went on to why, and we covered some basics. But today we are going to talk about what to eat. We are actually going to talk about the items that you can eat, you cannot eat, and so on. We'll start this week. We'll see how it goes. If we have to, we'll do another episode. But last week we started this topic in the last show by touching on some of the ways to get started with LCHF. So we started, and then we touched on some of the food items and all that, Tina. So this week we are going a little deeper into what people can eat and what not to eat, right?
Yeah. So we have a food list of things that are low carb, high fat, that can be included in the low carb, high fat diet. I have classified them as yes, what to eat, no, what not to eat, definitely what you must do, and maybe what you have to decide for yourself. So this is entirely in your hands. While I do give the list, I would request you to find out nutrition data and see how your body reacts to certain kinds of foods. You may have an autoimmune condition. You may have a gut which needs to be healed. So certain foods, it may take time for you to get used to, and then you could include them little by little. So I'll give you the list, but you go ahead and see how it works for you. So in the yes, what to eat list, the first thing that comes is meat. So you can eat any kind of meat, red meat, white meat, fish, all of it. So let me just name some. You can have beef, mutton, which is lamb, pork, poultry, chicken, turkey, duck, country chicken, broiler chicken, all kinds of meat, any bird, any animal basically which you would like to eat. You can go ahead and have meat. And then the next is fish. You could have all kinds of fish, especially fatty fish. They have good fats in them. You could eat that. And when you eat fish or any meat even, avoid coating them. Like, you can have fish, but please don't have fish fingers, because they are a narrow strip of fish dipped in refined wheat flour. So we know by now that wheat flour is a no item.
Fish 65?
Yeah, if it's dipped in flour, no.
So sometimes we go to, just to add a little bit of story there, so sometimes we go to the restaurant and we request them, because in India most of the restaurants, they dip in some kind of flour. So
it's all over the world.
Yeah. So
look at fish and chips in England and many other like chicken nuggets and all of that all over the world, especially in Northern America. They're all dipped in flour, some kind of a batter.
So what we tell them is, can you make chicken 65 without flour? So some people actually do, or fish 65 without flour. Some people actually do. So just a little note. Yeah. You could.
Yeah, I actually, when I was maybe 20 years younger, I don't remember things being dipped in flour and fried. It would be just dipped in spices and deep fried. But nowadays there's a whole lot of flour, either gram flour or rice flour or wheat flour or a combination of the above. So these flours are a strict no. However, you can find innovative methods of flour, having a crispy coating by using coconut flour or almond flour. So there are some low carb flours which can be used once in a while when you like a crispy snack. So then, next we can have eggs. As many eggs as you want, in whatever form that you want. Make sure you include the yolk. We are so used to egg white omelette and egg white this and egg white that. Please include the yolk. It's a very good source of good fat. So eggs any way you want. For cooking fat, it would be recommended that you use oils such as coconut oil, Sometimes people use avocado oil, olive oil, and butter or ghee, which is clarified butter, predominantly used in India and certain other South Asian cultures. You could have animal fats like lard or tallow or any animal fat. So these are the fats that you should use for cooking. And what's next? Vegetables. You can have most vegetables that are not starchy in nature, that are not sugary in nature. So go to Google and find out the nutrition data of the vegetable that you want to eat. If the carb content is high, try avoiding it. If not, it's okay. Sometimes the glycemic, I'll just continue this. Sometimes the glycemic index or the glycemic load is very high, for example, potatoes. So or some other tubers. If that is high, then it is better to avoid them. Otherwise, you can have fibrous, non-starchy vegetables. For example, cabbage, cauliflower, lettuce, bok choy, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, brinjal, asparagus, zucchini, okra, lady's finger, olives, drumsticks, capsicum, tomatoes, greens. You could have ash gourds. All kinds of gourds are good. Ash gourds, bitter gourd, also known as karela, or pumpkins, bottle gourd, lauki, snake gourd, ivy gourd, turkey berry, which is also called ustikai or bangatia. Sorry, I may be getting the spelling wrong. Chayote, all, most vegetables. Just Google and find out the nutrition data if you have a doubt.
Yeah. I was going to say, just go to Google and say nutrition data for, say, tomato or whatever you want.
Yeah, nutrition data for, and include the vegetable that you are in doubt. And the next thing is, you can have dairy in certain forms. They should be high fat dairy products. So heavy cream, butter, ghee, cheese, mascarpone cheese, cheddar cheese, mozzarella cheese, cottage cheese. In India, we have paneer. I'm sure there are various kinds of cottage cheese all over the world in different cultures. So you could have that. And if you have to have milk, then it better be high fat milk, heavy milk, high fat milk. But if you have dairy intolerances, then it may be better to avoid milk because the sugars in the milk the lactose in the milk may affect the intestine, the gut for some people. Nuts, you can have nuts, walnuts, almonds, hazelnuts, macadamia, pecan nuts, whatever nuts, you could have them. What I do with some nuts, like almonds, is sometimes you toast them directly, but it is recommended not to do that. Instead, soak them so that the phytates and phytic acid is removed. So you soak them, remove the skin, and dry them, and then toast them either in the oven or in a pan. I just add a little ghee and toast them in a pan, and sometimes have a little flavoring like pepper or salt or something like that. And you could use them as a snack, especially if you have like a cream cheese dip or something, a flavored herbed cream cheese dip. Then it's a nice snack because it has quite a lot of fat. On the one side you have a nutty crunch, on the other side you have a gooey cream cheese. So you could do something like that. Get creative when you're having snacks and nuts as a snack. You could have soup, and homemade bone broths are recommended because the soups that come in sachets most of the time have corn flour or some kind of a thickening agent in them. So better you have bone broths that are made at home. All you need is some bones, chicken bones or lamb or any bones from a bird or an animal, and you could slow cook them in the oven, or in some cultures they have I don't know what you call that, quick slow I don't know, different kinds of cookers, but in India we have the pressure cooker. So you could pressure cook like soft bones of birds for an hour. Or if it's lamb, maybe 2 hours. But when we generally buy oxtail bones and other bones of beef, like thick, big marrow bones or marrow bones of mutton, then I pressure cook them for anywhere between 3 to 4 hours. You could check out the bone broth link in our website, and you'll know how to cook bone broth. Leave out the chilies or the spicy stuff if you don't like them. All those are optional. What is necessary is actually the bone and some salt and water. So other things are optional. You could leave them, include them as you like. And so these are soups. And when you go to a restaurant, try getting clear soup. Mention specifically that you do not want corn flour or any type of flour in the soup. And sometimes you may have a liking for creamy soups. I do. But instead of adding cream, sometimes restaurants add flour. So make sure you ask them if it is just heavy cream or a flour. In case it's a flour, avoid it. If it's just heavy cream, you could go ahead and have it. So that's about soups. You could have coconut in any form. In India and many tropical countries, we have fresh coconut. You could drink coconut milk. You could have coconut milk as a substitute for normal milk. So you could include coconut milk in your tea. I love coconut milk in my tea. It just tastes good. Or just coconut milk. You can just have a drink of coconut milk. And supplements, if you must have, you could have omega-3 supplements or vitamin supplements. I would suggest that you consult your physician or a medical professional or a nutritionist regarding whether you want to add any supplements. So that's the yes list. Do you have any questions before we go on to the no list?
Yeah, I mean, regarding the restaurants, so you said people add corn flour in the soup. So is that also something to do with the dishes? So should we just tell the restaurant that, we don't want anything gluten or something that they understand, or what some tips?
No, most people don't know what is gluten free, at least in India, as I've seen. Even high-end restaurants, which cost you quite some money. Sometimes when I tell a waiter that I don't want wheat, they don't understand the difference between maida and wheat. They don't know that maida is just refined wheat, nothing else. It's wheat whose hull has been removed and which has been treated with bleach, like the bleaching solution which we use for clothes. It's been treated with chemical bleach and made white. Whole wheat flour is brown. This is white in color. It's refined. They don't know the difference. So they're like, madam, this is not wheat. This is maida only. No. So I have to educate them, telling them maida comes from wheat. And then the other
variations of wheat, lots of
and
variations.
In one shop I said, I don't want a burger because I don't eat wheat. And he's like, but this is only bun. I'm like, yeah, so what is bun made of? So they just don't know that it's wheat, and they don't know the difference between wheat and maida. And sometimes the fellow will be like, oh, it's just breadcrumbs. We've just dipped it in breadcrumbs. There is no maida, no wheat. And I'm like, breadcrumbs come from maida, wheat. So rava, there's just so many suji, rava, so many products that are made of wheat. Semia, semolina, noodles. Wheat is omnipresent almost. So you just have to be very careful about asking them. So you have to tell them maida. When you ask a restaurant, you don't say gluten free because many people may not understand. So you have to say, does it have maida? Does it have wheat? Does it have breadcrumbs and all that? So don't, like my husband sitting here beside me, keep an innocent face and ask, so why can't I have fish nuggets? I'm like, for the past 5 years, I've been telling you why you can't have fish nuggets, and you want to put up this innocent face in front of the waiter and say, oh, but can I not have this? Just
maybe it's all changed.
Oh yeah, really. So so that's when it comes to restaurants.
Yeah. I just wanted to add that as a practical tip. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So let's now go to the no list. What not to eat? Do not eat any form of sugar. No brown sugar, no demerara sugar, no, cane sugar, this sugar, that sugar, no sugar, no country sugar.
Yeah, we had a detailed discussion in the last
last show as well.
So you can watch that.
Yeah, and there's also a link in a blog that has the other names of sugar. So make sure you check out that blog as well. And most LCHF experts suggest that if you need a sweetener, then you could go for stevia because it does not induce an insulin response. But stevia doesn't work out too well when it comes to baking, so in which case you could use erythritol. But I would suggest that you keep these few and far between and not make them a habit, or a practice to continuously use sugar substitutes. I think that will be easy. You'll start appreciating bitterness as a taste. Cocoa was made bitter by God for a reason. So you don't dump a whole lot of sugar and change the whole, the way it was made. Cocoa is bitter, just have it bitter. Coffee is bitter, have it bitter. I'm telling you, it's amazing. You'll start loving 90% dark chocolate. Even my 2-year-old daughter loves it. It's easier for her to love it because I haven't given her too much sweet stuff, but I'm just telling you. You'll start appreciating bitterness. You'll start appreciating taste for their own taste instead of dumping sugar and trying to make everything sweet. So there you go. Starch. Do not have starch. Rice products, wheat products, brown wheat, white wheat, refined wheat, all kinds of flours, grain products like bread, pasta, white rice, brown rice, chapati, roti. I'm naming mostly Indian dishes here. Roti, kulcha, idli, dosa, appam, barota, paratha, idiyappam, semia, noodles, poha, potatoes, french fries, pizza, porridge, muesli, oats, whole wheat bread, bonda, bhaji, vada, bakoda, karachev, and cereals like cornflakes, wheat bix, granola.
Just took all the fun items off.
Soups made of corn flour. You won't imagine you won't know how much fun eating eggs in the morning is. I mean, but yeah. So just say a no to all these, especially if you're not making them. For example, see, like once in a while you may want to include like a bhaji if you're making it with gram flour. But when you buy it from the shop, you don't know what else they mixed with it. So if you want to, once in a while have a bhaji or bakoda which you're making with corn flour, then you better make it at home so that you know that only gram flour has gone into it. But gram flour basically comes into the maybe list. We'll go there later. And avoid unhealthy fats. Oils that come from seeds are better avoided. So oils from seeds like... Oh, sorry. Oils made from seeds like cottonseed oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil, grapeseed oil, rapeseed oil, cornflour, sunflower oil, safflower oil, rice bran oil, canola oil, hydrogenated fats like margarine.
I didn't even know there were so many oils.
There are. People take seeds, which are, I mean, seriously, the tiniest part in a plant is a seed. You want to go and pick that and then squeeze the juice out of it and use that as cooking fat. Use fat from fruits. Olive is a fruit. Use olive oil. Coconut is a fruit. Use coconut oil. Animals have animal fat. Use animal fat. Use dairy fat. Butter, ghee. Why would you take the tiniest part of a seed and squeeze it out and then, there's all sorts of chemical processes that going into squeezing it out. Seed oils are not good for health. They are extremely bad. If you see our video, Lies About Fat and Cholesterol, you will understand why seed oils are bad.
There's a big science behind that. We can't go into that today, but it's...
Avoid seed oils.
Yeah.
Fruit oils like avocado oil, olive oil, and coconut oil. I've said that in the yes section, so let's not go there now. And avoid low-fat products which are selling in the market. Most manufacturers remove the good fats. They add sugars to low-fat products. So anything that says low-fat, no. No flavored yogurts, no skimmed milk, no low-fat milk. Go ahead and have high-fat milk. Have 6% milk. Use that to make your curds, to make your homemade yogurt. Use 6% milk. Oh, the curd is just yummy. Try it. It's so yummy. You'll be like, how did I even have low-fat curd all this while? Seriously, who needs skimmed milk and low-fat butter? It's not even a thing. Okay, so we saw the yes list, we saw the no list. Now we are going into the what you must do list. Make sure you eat sufficient amounts of good fats.
See, some of it are basic repeating, but in different angles. Like, what is good to eat, lots of fat, but what you must eat is fat. Both are important, both are the same thing, but in a different angle. So you get why we are saying certain things again and again.
So you eat fats, and how you can eat them is you could have cheese as a snack, add cream cheese and nut as a snack. But when you cook, make sure you cook in butter or ghee or coconut oil. So there's a lot of that. And what we practically do to increase our food content or fat intake is when we heat a food item or we're eating it hot out of the pan or whatever, we add some grated cheese on top. Or we add a tablespoon or 2 of butter or ghee. So there's this meat dish and we just dump a spoon of butter on it and the butter just melts and your fat intake increases. It tastes heavenly. It tastes
like
good. Butter and ghee, if you add it to your meat dishes, it's just yummy. So eat it. Not only do you cook with it, you try and eat it when you try and include it when you're eating so that your fat content is really upped. That's the way you can increase your fat content and decrease your carb content and moderate your protein content. Because see, this is not a high protein diet. You end up having high protein, it's not good. You have to have high fat, moderate protein and low carbs. So that's for what you must have.
We've run out of 20 minutes, but we will go for some time and try to finish this maybe. So this is going to be a little bit a longer episode. So.
Yeah. For your information, all our previous episodes have been a little bit longer. Just letting you know.
Maybe we should just keep it as 25 minutes.
Let's see how it goes.
Let's see.
Anyway, what you have to do, decide for yourself. This is the maybe list. We saw the yes, we saw the no, we saw the definitely what you must do, and this is the maybe what you have to decide for yourself. See, fruits contain a form of fructose. So it is better to avoid them, especially if you have insulin resistance. If you don't have much insulin resistance and you want to add a sweet fruit once in a while, it's okay. But don't make it a habit of eating sweet fruits.
So you can have banana once in a while.
It depends on how often your once in a while is, Natchi. Your once in a while are frequenter than I would like them to be. So yeah. So you can have guava and papaya and honeydew melon, which is also known as kadapa melon. Or musk melon. These have lower sugar content, so you could have these once in a while. Lentils and legumes. Now, lentils and legumes are like in the gray zone. You may or may not have them based on how insulin resistant you are and what part of the LCHF journey you are in. If you see the LCHF roadmap, you'll know which part of the journey you are in. And if you're on the end leg where you've achieved your numbers, then you could include your legumes and lentils once in a while. And how I use legumes and lentils are because they contain phytates and certain anti-nutrients. I soak them either in water or in water along with an acidic medium like maybe lime or apple cider vinegar or buttermilk, just a little, and soak them for anywhere between 4 to maybe 10 hours depending on the lentil or the legume before I cook them. This is to remove the phytates and anti-nutrients. Consuming legumes as is without soaking them affects the intestines, it affects the guts. So this is how I would suggest you consume legumes, that too depending on which part of the LCHF journey you are in. Same with tubers. If you want to have a sweet potato once in a while or a french fries once in a while, it depends on which part of the journey you are in. And with beans, with flat beans, French beans, black-eyed beans, cluster beans, if you're not insulin resistant, you could go ahead and have them. If they are dry, soak them like I said before. And if they are green, you could have them once in a while. Just don't have them too much, but once in a while is not a problem. That is something you have to decide for yourself. And dairy too. If you have to have milk, then I would suggest high-fat milk, 6% fat, and make your curds, your homemade yogurts and curds with high-fat milk. So this, when it comes to maybe foods, one thing is which part of the journey you are in. Another thing is about your gut health. Please read about gut health and how certain foods affect the intestines. What is this book? The Gut by Giulia Enders. is a very good resource. You could read that book and gather information about gut health. Generally, there are a lot of resources. So, based on that, you could have certain foods and avoid certain foods, especially if your gut health is compromised and that is causing you to have an autoimmune disease like irritable bowel syndrome or arthritis or psoriasis, like I used to have, and currently I'm having a flare. I don't know where I, I don't know if I let seep in some wheat or something. So if you have an autoimmune condition that has happened because of poor gut health, then you may want to avoid it completely. Even migraines, if you stop wheat and drink sufficient water, you can stop migraines. I've not had a migraine in quite a while because I completely stopped wheat. So some foods, if you have to avoid based on an allergy or an autoimmune condition that you have, then I would suggest you completely avoid them. So there's your list of yes, no, must do, maybe. These are also on the website. Go and do your own research as well and have fun.
Thank you so much, and subscribe to us if you're not yet subscribed and you're watching us or listening to us. Do subscribe and follow us in all the platforms so that you can consume all the useful content.
Do mail in your doubts and feedbacks.
Yeah, let us know how we're doing. If you want us to improve on something, if there's something that we can do better. Our idea is to help you and share whatever we've gone through.
Like you could give me a makeup tutorial. I've had several people telling me you look awful. You should have a makeup class. So yeah. Anyway, both of us need a haircut. Now that we are on quarantine, we both need a haircut. So maybe
not
in the next
quarantine, a lockdown.
Oh, sorry, a lockdown. Yeah. We are not in quarantine.
No, we're not.
We're in lockdown, so we need to have a haircut. So anyway, yeah.
So send us your feedback and comments. We'd love to hear them, and also tell us if this is useful to you. We're just doing this hoping that it's going to help people based on the thousands of people that have given us feedback on YouTube videos and so on. So we thought this would be something nice where we can sit and chat and have a conversation and also bring up certain things that could help people. So let us know if this is useful for you, and if it helps you in any way, we would love to hear them, and leave us a review if you can in any of the channels in which you're listening. Leave us a review. That will also be fantastic. All right, we will see you next week with another topic here. Until then, you guys stay healthy, stay safe, and God bless you.
Bye-bye.